I want to introduce you to our Canvas page, but also importantly, sort of the layout of each of our chapter modules and our homework, how our homework is going to work for this semester. So first of all, this top bar here is just all these course resources. Each one of these is just like a little button that will take you to a particular module on Canvas, right? So I can get to I can click modules, and that will just give me this list of all of our modules that we have here. I'm actually in instructor view, so you can see stuff that you're not supposed to. This shouldn't even be here anyway. But yeah, if I go to my home page, that's just what these buttons are hot buttons for. So clicking on the Chapter 1 button, that will just take me to the Chapter 1 module. Up here, there are some hot links to the pages that have our syllabus on it, our course schedule, and our office hours. If you remember me saying, our office hours page here has my office hours, but also importantly, a map of how to get to my office from the science building. You got to go all the way around. It's tucked back here between some automotive bays. Again, it's going to look like you're in the wrong place. These are all just pages under that course introduction module. So this is going to be all well and good for this first week while you're getting introduced to it. But as we go throughout the semester, really you're going to care about these chapter modules. Every week a new chapter, so every week a new module is going to open up. So let's go to our first Chapter 1 module here. And they're all going to have kind of the same basic structure, right? So chapters all compiled in this module. A module is like a folder. So if I collapse that, I get all my Chapter 1 stuff. The first page is the Chapter 1 introduction. So this is where at the end of the week, the lecture slides will be posted, right? So again, I'll post the PDF of those lecture slides that I take in class. But then also what's under this introduction slide is the learning objectives for each chapter. So you see the chapter is broken up into a few topics, and for each topic it tells you what you're expected to be able to do, right? Like what type of problems can I ask you? All of that is summarized here, okay? So let's just go back to our Chapter 1 module, see what else we got. So then I have a video. These are the videos that I will record during class. Since we've had my first lecture of the week, I actually have the Chapter 1 lecture video posted, so you can go through. This is just the lecture that I gave that first day, okay? And then what we see after that is a whole bunch of assignments. And these assignments are not worth very many points. Each one is only worth 2 points, right? So they will total about 10 points per week, although I do like round numbers. So in this case, there is 6 assignments, so it totals to 12. But yeah, each one of these will then, just like as pointed to in those learning objectives, it will have a problem set where there are some different problems that we should do. Okay, so each one of these ones are what I call lecture assignments. They're after each lecture. They are not worth very many points. You can see the due date was clearly posted. It was August 11th for this particular one. If I actually click on the assignment, it will take me to this page. I can see the due date is August 11th, and it also tells me how long this assignment is going to be open for. So it says that this will be open for 5 days after what's called, I don't know why they abbreviate it to make life hard, the grade after unassigned day, or I actually don't know what the U is. Anyways, it will be open for 5 days after August 11th at 10% penalty per day. All right, and this particular problem set has these questions here. These problem sets aren't worth very many points, as I said. The thing is that you have an infinite number of attempts on each assignment, or on each question, right? So you can do it over and over and over again until you get it right. As long as you don't give up on that particular question, you can just keep on doing it forever until you get it right, right? So as long as you sort of go out of your way to make sure that you do your problem sets early, you can then have enough time to ask for questions in office hours or the learning center, whatever it may be, right? So everybody's expected to get all of those points every week going through these problems here, okay? And again, for each topic, we have some practice problems to do, right? The other thing about these practice problems is they're sort of tuned in such a way where like the first one you get will be super easy, and then it'll get a little bit more difficult. They're kind of set to like pace you through those types of problems. We haven't done our second video, our second lecture here. Eventually, that's where this video would go. And then here's the problem sets, the lecture assignments that we should do from that second lecture. Okay. Again, all of these due dates are clearly posted. If you click on them, they tell you how long it will be open until. It's your responsibility to pay attention to those due dates. Like I said, everything will close the day before an exam. So in this case, I gave you 5 extra days to turn it in late because we're at the very beginning of a unit. As we get further on in the unit, there may be some of the later assignments that you only have like 3 days because the exam's going to be after that. So just pay attention to when these assignments are going to close. That is something that's your responsibility to keep track of. So generally speaking, our first lecture of the week, those assignments will be due that Friday. The second lecture of the week, those assignments will be due that Sunday. I like to space things out to save college students from themselves from putting everything until the absolute last minute. And then we can see that the very end here is what we call the end of chapter assignment. And this is worth quite a few more points here. All right. The end of chapter assignment is going to be a summary of all those other problem sets. So there's the valence electrons problems, there's the Lewis structure problems, molecular geometry problems, formal charge problems, right? Everything that was covered in that chapter. And the other thing, this assignment is a little bit more high stakes. Now you only have 4 attempts to do it. And for each attempt that you get wrong, it's going to dock you 25% of your 1 point total that you could have gotten, right? So now is going to be a little bit more high stakes. I mean, it's only 15 points. It's not that high stakes. But the point being is you are going to be graded on correctness in this assignment here, okay? So just to kind of go back, let me just try to hammer home here the structure of the course. Every lecture is broken down into these topics. The first thing you have is an infinite number of attempts to show me that you know how to do these problems, right? That's where you work out all the kinks. Then you have a slightly more high stakes problem set at the end, right? So these are going to be due on Tuesday of that next week, give you a few extra days. But now you're going to be graded on whether or not you actually understood how to do these formal charge questions, or you actually understood how to do these Lewis structure questions, et cetera, right? So now you're going to be graded on correctness for that. Still only 15 points. And the whole idea is this is building up to our exam, which is 100 points, where obviously you get graded on correctness and you only got 1 shot to demonstrate to me that you know how to do it, right? So the whole point here is sort of some training, where here you have these low stakes assignments with a few building questions each that you have a bunch of attempts to get right. This is to make sure you understand what's going on. This is where you prove to yourself that you understand what's going on. Now we got a little bit more medium stakes. I do have a few attempts, but I'm going to get docked if I get it wrong. And then finally, at the end of a unit, we'll have an exam. And that's, of course, the high stakes sort of, you show me you know how to do it or don't know how to do it.